There we go. All right.
Now it's
Hey,
official.
love.
Hey, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Oh, it is. Yeah, it is morning here. It's morning here. Hello. Hello. We are live inside the Building Real Love in Real Life group. It's been a little bit and we've been traveling and doing some things, but we are here. And we do have an announcement about these conversations. These conversations, by the way, that we call Conversations with David and Paige. A little bit later, but we'll leave a little teaser there on the future of these live conversations. So I'm going to full screen this. You look lovely, honey. I like that color on you.
It is a really nice color on me. Thank you.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a little lesson right there. I love that. I'm pulling up. I'm not ignoring you. Oh, we're right there. Great. Oh, look at us. We're so cute. Okay. We're good to go. All right. Celeste is here. Stephanie is here. Miriam is here. Shan is here. We have some folks joining us live here.
Okay.
Yeah. What are we talking about today? Ooh, the title of this, which by the way, let everybody know that Paige is an exquisite writer and she always comes up with the most amazing titles. This one is Don't Do This When in Conflict. Don't do this within conflict. So if you're here live with us, yeah, it's ooh. If you're here live with us, ladies and gentlemen, let us know. Write in the comments. Tell us where you're calling in from. Tell us hi. What do you think of Paige's top? What about my shirt, my haircut?
It's fantastic as always.
Well, thank you. Shan says hello. Let us know where you're calling in from, friends, where you're coming to us here live. We're going to talk about conflict today. So if you are here live with us right now, let us know if you've ever had conflict in your relationship.
Not me.
Yeah, no, no, we've never had conflict. In fact, what's spawning this conversation is something that you posted specifically yesterday on revealing real life conflict in our relationship, and specifically the communication that we had through text message yesterday. So by the way, if you're watching this live and obviously you're part of this group, go and make sure that you take a look at Paige's post from yesterday, which would have been 2/22/23, February 22nd, 2023, on conflict. We shared a very open and vulnerable communication, a text message between ourselves after and trying to find some relief with a conflict we had from the prior evening. And so we were going to bring some more clarity here live in this conversation with David and Paige on conflict. So I want to make sure that Alberta, Canada. There we go. I love that. Andrew is here. Hello. Yeah. Hello, Celeste. Yes. Roxanne is here. Hi, Roxanne. Let us know where you're chiming in from. So what are some of the things, Paige, that we experienced or have experienced in the past? What are some of I guess we could even do a good, better, best. I'm just making this up as we go, right? Is like, what are the things in which to strive? What is a standard in conflict resolution in relationships? What do we need to avoid? What are some of the things to lean into? And then I want to, this is again coming right to me here in the moment, is I want to put some trauma informed polarity in this as well. Where is the masculine in conflict? Where is the feminine in conflict? Are those roles different? Which they are ideally. So what is kind of coming to mind with you? And we can just start anywhere. As far as what do we not want to do? Since that's the title of this, what do we not want to do? Don't do this.
Yeah, I have a whole list swirling inside my brain of what not to do. And I will say the three that are really coming forward is I've had a great experience, and I'm using great as the wrong term, but great as in vast experience with the silent treatment in conflict in previous relationships. And that really caused a lot of harm in our relationship individually, but also as our partnership. And then the sweeping it under the rug kind of goes hand in hand with that. So that's my second choice, sweeping it under the rug, pretending like you both are fine and nothing was feeling hurtful and that everything was not resolved, and we're just going to keep on keeping on because that's the way we know how to do it. And we just want to keep the peace and we want to feel good in our body and feel good in our partnership. And that actually causes a lot more harm than good, because when we are not processing those particular emotions from the emotional body, then they are incomplete experiences with that emotional frequency. And so that emotion quite literally just gets trapped in the body. And so over time, that's how these little bitty layers of resentment and bitterness begin to build. And then towards the end of the relationship, usually there's so much resentment that both partners are now just kind of roommates. They're just kind of like passing in the night. They are indifferent. And a lot of it is due to unprocessed conflict, unprocessed feelings, and being able to express and support and validate each other in each of those different ways. And then the third one is, of course, name calling. Name calling is so incredibly hard, and conflict can be done in a way that does not use words that kind of cut so deep. And there's a lot to expand on that, especially as we bring parts work into all of this, which is the main modality that we work with in our trauma healing practices. So that's what comes to mind for me.
Yeah. Yeah. We can unpack those three. Just the silent treatment, which I've spoken a lot. By the way, those of you that may be new to the group or came to us in different facets, make sure that you are going over to TikTok and following both Paige and myself. We have an incredible presence there. And there is content that we produce every single day on TikTok. And if you don't have a TikTok account, you're like, I don't want to do the TikTok. Go do the TikTok just for David and Paige. Okay. Because you're going to get new original content almost every single day. And so make sure that you're going over there. The reason why I bring this up is because I think I did an entire series on the silent treatment and how devastating that is and where it comes from. So I just got off of a coaching call with one of our clients, and we were digging into this idea of the root cause. The root cause. We must understand, ladies and gentlemen, where the silent treatment comes from. We must understand the root cause of why someone is silent when conflict is happening. What is going on within them in which they go silent and disappear, right? And from our perspective on how we teach and coach, the silent treatment is a trauma response to help protect and to keep the person safe. Now, that may sound very weird. Like, wait, that's hurting the other person. Yes, it is. But remember, self-preservation is at the utmost. The human body, the nervous system is incredibly resilient, and it will find ways in which to survive. And based on prior experiences, the silent treatment does work. It keeps the person safe from engaging into deeper conflict, into name calling, into something perhaps violent or whatever the case may be. So for the individual who shuts down, what's going on inside of them makes sense and keeps them safe from further conflict. So it's super important to understand that someone just doesn't haphazardly stop talking and it's all about how they want to hurt the other person. Okay? Yes, it does. And yes, it is harmful. But the elevated response of the other partner who's receiving the silent treatment, the elevated response is, that's not about me. It's not about me. They are pulling away, but I must remain intact. I must remain grounded. I must remain who I am, regardless of what the other person is doing. Now, that's next level elevated stuff. And that is so, so difficult. So it's important to understand why name calling happens. It's important to understand why ghosting happens. It's important why the silent treatment. What was the other thing? Oh, sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
Why do we sweep things under the rug? Because if we bring them back up, it's hurtful. And our nervous system is designed to protect itself. Go ahead, babe.
Totally. And there's an asterisk on all of that, right? Just because your partner continues to respond in ways of silent treatment and sweeping things under the rug, and we are able to stand strongly in ourselves and say that's not about me. There comes a time where there has to be growth, there has to be movement forward, and there has to be desire to heal those particular patterns from the partner. Now, there's nothing you can do for them. So that has to be their idea, their decision, and their timeline. And only you can decide if their timeline is in alignment with your needs and your desires for the relationship.
Yeah. So it's what we often talk about is this concept called yes and. Yes, it's important to understand the root cause of why your partner is behaving the way they are. And you certainly don't have to remain in that space and not stand strong in your boundary to say, no, I will not be treated that way anymore. So it's yes and. It's so important. It is the wise woman or man who understands the root cause of why they are responding the way they are and why someone else, their partner, is responding the way they are. And it's so imperative that the other partner is responding with a growth trajectory, with a healing trajectory. Because most of the time, if we just stay in awareness, oh, I know why he's doing it, or I know why I do that, right? As someone once told me a long time ago in one of the very first events that I ever conducted in the coaching space, this particular woman at this retreat experience kept saying to me, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I've known to do for 20 years. And yet she is aware of what she needs to do to heal, grow, and transform. And yet the implementation and the integration will never take place, because that's the hard part. Right?
It is the hardest part. It's the messiest part.
It is the messiest part.
And we're so scared of making mistakes, and we think we have to get it right the first time, and we think it has to be perfect, or we are labeled a failure, or it's going to cause more conflict, more hurt, more pain, more chaos. Right. And oh my gosh, that's the juice. That's the magic. That is the medicine right there. And being able to build that grace and trust with yourself so that you can support your I almost said husband, support your partner, spouse, whoever, in making those similar mistakes too, because those mistakes simply serve as their commitment to growth, their commitment to healing, and it serves as their comfort to be able to adjust their implementation and integration and action from that point forward. That's Absolutely. Where we learn. That's where we grow. It is so incredibly important to make those mistakes. If we're not making the mistakes and choosing to just remain in the comfort of the normal way of operation, then we're not growing as individuals, and neither is the partnership. So good, babe. So good. We often say this: the most powerful growth, healing, and transformation happens within a relationship. So for those of you that are here, that are in the single space, and you're thinking, I just need to heal. I need to get completely healed before I jump into a relationship. No. Did you hear that? I'm going to get really close. No. Okay. Do not hinder yourself, because it's within the container of the relationship. I have grown exponentially more being in an elevated, co-creative, healthier relationship with Paige than I would ever grow on my own, because I've able, to your point, babe, within that container, within the safety of that container, I've been able to trial and error, fall down, get back up, right? Receive the grace from you, and vice versa. It's not to say, and what I'm not saying, what David and Paige aren't saying is like, great, I'm going to go start dating so I can start to heal. Not saying that, but please do not think that you have to heal yourself before really understanding integration within the confines of a relationship. Yeah, it's just never going to happen. Like that is a target that you will never hit. Being and feeling completely healed. No one is ever completely healed. Healing is a direction. It is not a destination. There is no check mark. There is no finish line. And yeah, so waiting for that to happen and then getting into searching out a relationship, it's backwards. It reminds me of that principle, be, do, have. Yes. Right? Be, do, have, be in your healing, and then have the relationship, like versus have, do, be. Like first I need to have the healing in order to be in a happy relationship. Right. Like reverse that. Exactly. So what is the quote you just said before we went live? The one we always talk about, clarity comes after execution. Yeah. I'm going to say that again. Clarity comes after why don't you say it? Clarity comes after execution. Exactly. Clarity comes after execution, which is, we jump off the cliff and then open the parachute. You have to step forward in your healing. It is about your healing first,
right? And what we're saying is within the container of a relationship, you can understand one another and bounce new ideas and be in the laboratory, so to speak, to understand what true healing, growth, and transformation is. I wanted to touch on something else that you just said, and it's escaping me right now. Oh, I said this, and of course it's resonating because there's no such thing as accidents. So this was what my TikTok was about today. So again, if you're not following me on TikTok, not following Paige on TikTok, go over there. It's original content we put out every single day that you're not going to see anywhere else. Okay. So what I said was, in essence, the definition of a healthy, co-creative, polarized relationship is that you are committed to your own healing, growth, and transformation.
Yes.
That's the genesis of a healthy relationship. It's not all the things that we think, oh, trust and honor and reliability and trustworthiness and loyalty and great sex and all that. That's all an after effect of two individuals who choose to enter into a connective relationship, who are committed to their own individual healing. Which, by the way, when we're working with clients, which is so difficult because there may be one individual in the partnership who has grown and the other one isn't. Right? We see this a lot, and that can be really, really difficult. And why most couples don't move forward is because one or the other isn't necessarily moving forward. Maybe one, pertaining back to this conversation, is wanting to elevate and wanting to move forward in their conflict resolution. And the other one's like, no, I'm good. I'm fine. This is just the way it's going to be. That can be really, really, really challenging. But I will say this boldly and sternly. It is your individual, ladies and gentlemen, it is your individual healing, growth, and transformation that matters, regardless of what the partner is doing. And that can be really, really difficult. That can be really, really challenging. But ultimately, the most grounded relationships are ones, and the vow that you take with the other is what I often say to Paige, what I write on mirrors, what I want to say to her is my commitment. I did this last night, or this is the whole root of these text messages that we sent and then displayed and shared with all of you, is in essence what I was saying is I'm committing to being better. I am committing to being a better man, a better leader, to lead her, to lead us, to lead our organization, to lead our relationship, to all of that. Is I didn't show up for her. I didn't show up to be the masculine man, the leader in which I needed to be, and made a new and a renewed commitment to say, one, I am sorry of the things that I said and how I left you abandoned and how I left you without clarity and how I left you without leadership. Realizing that, coming to an understanding and going, you know what? I'm going to leverage this conflict to renew my commitment to myself. How? I just want to know, like, I'm seeing your eyes, your beautiful eyes, babe. Share with the folks how that felt, like receiving that message. And then if you wanted to talk about when I came and sat on the bed next to you too, and how that was so powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. So I think we were talking about this. I don't know, was it before we went live on this call? I can't remember our conversations anymore. How like conflict is it can be incredibly like an adaptable experience. Like it is the catalyst for healing and change to begin. And it doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be that something is wrong. It is actually providing and unveiling a huge, amazing, beautiful opportunity for the two of you to grow individually and then together as a whole, as a partnership. And so I think that that's a big shift in perspective that first can be embodied there. And then of course, I love when I hear you take ownership. Like it's so feels relieving. It feels like you're here with me. You're able to see yourself. And when you're able to see more of you, I feel like I'm invited in to see more of you too. And so that is another way of building trust and building deeper intimacy and connection with your particular partner, because he's able to meet himself in his mess, or she's able to meet herself in her mess and say, look, here I am. I know I messed up. I'm sorry that I hurt you. And let's grow from this. How do we learn from this?
Yeah.
And so, of course, that's like step A. step A. And then step B, of course, is the implementation, is the action. And that's what I want to celebrate you and just applaud you. You are so good at seeing the areas for improvement and seeing the opportunity for growth and healing. And then you take almost instant, immediate action. And it's just incredible as your partner, as the feminine, to just see that you are following through in that way and showing up for you, showing up for me, and showing up for us in a way that feels like we are moving forward. So thank you for all of that.
Welcome,
it brings
honey.
great peace.
You're welcome. Yeah. I want to highlight again what you just said. When the masculine takes ownership, whether it's over a decision, what did you say, by the way? I don't want to miss this. You just said, meet himself in the mess. Write that down, y'all. Write it down. When we meet ourselves in our mess, that is incredibly attractive. That is vulnerability. That is accessibility, is what you said. And he's like, I feel access to you. I feel like more access because you have revealed, you are in tune with a blind spot.
Yeah.
And you have seen, oh my goodness, I'm going to take ownership over this. And boy, does that help begin to have relief in that conflict. It's like, you know what? I can see it now. And it may take some time. It may take some time. And thank you for your compliment, babe. I really appreciate that.
The stickiness there is of course we are allowed to meet ourselves in the mess, but we can't stay there.
Right.
We can't stay, we can't wallow, we can't be in victimhood. That's where we begin to ground more into a wounded energetic, a wounded masculine, wounded feminine energetic is what that is. And so that's where when women, or when the feminine energy in the relationship sees her masculine partner kind of bent over and feeling pity and remorse and sadness and sorrow for an extended period of time, that's where the feminine begins to pull away, because she's not sure. She doesn't have the clarity to know when he is going to be a leader of the family again. And so what does that do? Well, it prompts her to step forward into her masculine energy and begin to lead and create more predictability in their particular ecosystem, because he is kind of in the muck. He's in the muck.
Yeah.
And so we teach this differentiation that says being with it versus being in it. And being in it is allowing that defeat to just like swallow you whole. Whereas if you're with it, which we teach in conjunction with our parts work, internal family systems, is acknowledging those particular parts that are feeling defeat, and how can we provide and nourish them in ways that are going to give them what they need to get back up again and try again, keep going.
Right. Exactly. A wounded masculine energy is to wallow in rejection from his partner, rejection from himself. Okay. The opposing healthy masculine energy is resiliency, is he gets up off the mat. This is why self-pity coming from the masculine man is so incredibly dysregulating to the feminine partner. When he wallows in depression, when he wallows in self-pity, when he wallows in woe is me, when he wallows and stays in that, to precisely to what Paige just said, is that it terrifies. I'm going to say it again, gentlemen that are watching, okay? Gentlemen, it terrifies your feminine partner when you remain in that self-pity. It is imperative that we get up off the mat, right? And we realize our worth, our confidence, who we are, and go, you know what? Own your shit. Own it. Express it to your feminine partner. Step back into your dominant masculine energy and lead the situation, lead the relief, lead the conflict resolution. I want to recognize some folks, and I haven't done this. Amy is here. Sandra is here. Kelly is here. Marquia is here. Melissa is here. Hello. Say hello back to us. We're getting ready to wrap this up, but boy, we could just go on and on, can't we, babe?
Yes, this is a powerful conversation that is important for all to hear.
It is. And please, if you're watching this live, we're so glad that you're here. We're getting ready to wrap this up. If you're watching this later, #replay, and let us know. Provide feedback. Do you have questions? What has your experience been in conflict? How would you like to see more teaching on conflict resolution? Because it's so imperative. And at the heart of the conflict resolution, right, is healing those traumatized parts. Right.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, as the both of you are committed to your own individual healing, don't be surprised if there's more conflict than
Yep.
you're used to experiencing in the relationship, just because both of you quite literally are evolving and changing every single day, and you're trying on new ways of being, and you're letting go of old familiar patterns. And so there's a lot of wobbliness, instability as both of you are just changing and evolving. And so that can create a little more opportunity, room for conflict and combustion to occur. That's why the repair process is so incredibly important. Learning how to understand and hear your own needs so that you can show up and hear and understand your partner's needs. And then together you both can work in tandem to provide what each of you need, which looks like validation, being able to express, being able to connect to the hurt parts of ourselves so that we can release the hurt part from our body and then learn and grow from that together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we'll complete it there, right? We'll put a pause on it, as we like to say. Great conversations never end. They're never completed. We just put a pause on them. So a couple of things that I want to say. And by the way, some other folks have jumped on. Hello, Jason. Hello, Cassie. Good to see you too. So as we get ready to complete and put a pause on this conversation, a couple of things. So what we're going to migrate this conversation to, so beginning next week when we have these live conversations, we're going to take them live on YouTube, y'all. If you are in this group, Building Real Love in Real Life, if you're in this group and you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, go there right now and subscribe and ring the little bell so you know when these conversations. We're going to start going live in the YouTube channel. Just search Daring Deeply and you'll find tons of our content and tons of our videos, not specifically, on just about every topic that you can imagine when it comes to relationships and polarity and trauma-informed healing. So we are going to be going live starting next week. We're going to take this live conversation with David and Paige and direct it toward YouTube. You're going to find this conversation and all these conversations on the YouTube channel. So you can go there and search and find the conversations here, along with our monthly live coaching events, which, by the way, is coming. Our next one is on March 6th. So if you haven't registered for that, you can do that through a link that's in this group, or you can certainly find that link on YouTube. We're going to be taking more and more of our content over to YouTube. So jump on there and find these conversations starting next week. We'll be going live through YouTube starting next week. Is that it? That we got? Is that it?
That's fantastic. Yeah,
okay. All right.
I believe that is it for today.
Okay, I believe that's it.
Thank you for leading us and for
thank you, baby.
Taking care of us so well in front of others, being the example.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you, sweetie. And thank you for hanging in the tension and navigating conflict and remaining there with me as well and following. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Again, go and follow us on YouTube. We're going to take these conversations live starting next week onto YouTube. So go and subscribe to our channel, search Daring Deeply on YouTube, and you'll find all those conversations moving forward. So one last hello. Hello, Amy. I see you jumping in here. We will say farewell for today and now. And we hope you continue to lean in and continue to learn and continue to heal and find those resolutions that is so important to release you to the most extraordinary relationships. So thank you, babe. We will see you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.